supernatural.
I was watching Charmed and going back to bed, dude.
Okay. Who made this music?
Devin. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
It is me, Chudzy, and I got all my cool vape stuff over at Bud Out E-Cigs.
Boom.
And boom. You know what I went ahead and did for myself, dude? Is when I went to Bud Out E-Cigs, I went to the promo code bar and I typed in last week out and fucking, you know what I did for myself? I gave myself 20% off my order, dude.
Dang it, butt. Good big butt.
And, you know, inflation prices are high right now, dude, with e-cigs and stuffs, dude. I was out in California, dude. They're trying to ban e-cigarettes, dude. They're charging a lot of money for stuff.
Well, let's not get into that.
We're living in Arizona, but anyways, dude, so check it out, dude. And this is what I'm going to do for you, man. I know you vape, okay? And I know you're spending a bunch of money every month, dude, and you can save 20% off your order every single time and support the podcast, dude. So get in there, type in last week out in your order, dude, and you're going to get 20% off anything you buy, dude. So Bud Out E-Cigs, check them out. And welcome to episode 420.
24.
Episode 24, dude. There's
Close.
24 hours in a day, and there's 24 episodes of last week out,
That
baby.
means we could play our episodes for one full day.
For one
back to back
full
to back to back to back.
day, and it'll be a little bit long because sometimes we do like an hour 20, dude, a straight rom-com, dude. You know what I mean? So kick back, relax, get some fucking popcorn, dude, and fucking tune in to the last week out, dude. So like, you know, it's Chudsy Wubsy here, dude, and I am the captain of this ship, dude. This is essentially my podcast, but we're not going to get into that, dude. I do have some deckhands, as I always do, and one would be the wonderful, the talented, the conversationalist, Mr. Anthony Tatum, dude.
I'm actually a cat.
Fucking Anthony Fly Balls, dude, and he's a fucking dude. He's the kind of guy who's like, give me your money, and you're gonna give him your money, dude, because when he says it, you're just like, yeah, I need to give this guy my money. So here's all my money, okay? And to also, dude, check this out. We got CBD Dave on the fucking ones and twos, dude. And
CBD Dave and ARA.
he is cute. There's just something. Cam and I were actually talking about it on the way over here. I was like, I know David is like kind of weird looking, but he has this like weird sexual tension about him.
Energy.
Like this like weird
not
sexual
tension, it's
not
magnetism.
Tension. It's magnetism, whatever it is, dude. Girls just like David, dude, and it's fucking crazy sometimes. I'm like, holy shit, dude. But David fucks, man. That's just what it is, dude. It's what it is, dude. He fucks, dude. So, you know, that's that, man. And, you know, we got that lo-fi banger that plays in the beginning. That's Mr. Devin Hancock, dude, the local DJ and just all-around good dude, man. And he's making all kinds of dope-ass shit. So check him out on Instagram at Devin Hancock. And then we got banners, artwork, still motion videos, a rendition of the Newport Shorts last week out behind me, dude. And that's from the talented Mrs. T Galore at Sissy Art on Instagram. So go follow her for some dope
These
ass
bitches
art.
are so upset.
Dude, she's the kind. This is the kind of girl Tara Galore is, dude. She'll be dog shit sick, you know, like all stuffed up, and then you'll be like, "Hey, are you sick?" And then she'll have this smile and she'll go, "No," but it's like, "Yeah, no, you're sick as fuck, dude. I can hear it in your voice right now. So you need to go take some. You needed to go take a fucking antihistamine and take a little nappy poo, bud. Okay, and fucking come back recouped and ready to go, dude. So all right, we got a special fucking guest, dude.
You say that every time.
No, we
I
don't.
say that every time.
we do.
But that's because every guest is special.
Right.
But
Yes.
this guest actually does hold a very special place in my heart. He is. Let me try to put this in perspective for you. I have a lot of really good friends. None of them have a house key. Okay,
That's right.
It's because I don't trust
have a
them.
house key.
We're talking about the house key on the way here.
Yeah, I don't trust Anthony with my house key. I don't
fair.
trust David with my house key.
That's fair.
That's actually not true. I 100% would trust the both of them with my house key. Just never had a reason to give them one. But, you know, I lock myself out of the house sometimes because guess what? I might be a cute kid, but I'm a fucking klutz, dude. And sometimes I'm an airhead, dude. And I locked myself out of the house on the way over here, called up Mr. Kill-A-Cam, dude. Kill-A-Cam, Kill-A-Cam. And he turned around and came and picked me up and unlocked my door for me because guess what? He's got a house key, and he's a trustworthy dude to have a fucking house key. When I go out of town, he waters my plants, dude.
Is that true?
That's true.
I'm under the impression
You
that they're
didn't even
not. I'm under the impression that they're not Chad's plants.
Oh,
That's
I water.
right,
I
they're
water
not
the.
mine.
I water the plants that are at
You
the
water
house.
Chad's girlfriend's plants.
Yeah, you
that's
water my
nice, dude.
girlfriend's plants.
That's
Yeah.
really nice of you.
Well, hey, dude, it's in
Yeah.
my house, so they're my plants, so you can go
Okay,
ahead.
all right.
All right. And guess what? My plants.
Yep.
Okay? Because
Ah.
guess where they are? In my house.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's that. All right? And, dude, yeah, we're about to get down and dirty, man. And how I really met Cam, this is really interesting, dude, is we actually met in the Department of Corrections, dude. And it was really funny how we met because we were on a very low security yard. So we got to watch movies together in the chow hall. Like everyone would get together and they play like movies and shit. And they were playing the new Jurassic Park. Was it Jurassic Park 4?
It was called
With
Jurassic
Chris Pratt?
World.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic
yeah.
World, I think, is what it was
And him
called.
and I were sitting in the back, dude, and we're like, and the movie was over, and it was like, he's like, I was like, it was all right, and he goes, yeah, but it wasn't a Spielberg, dude. And I was just like, all right, this dude fucking knows what the hell he's talking about,
Yeah,
bro.
this
And
dude
then-
fucks.
This dude straight fucks, dude. Hey, we might all be in prison right now, but this dude fucks, dude.
Not
Even if-
here, out there.
No, he
Hopefully.
fucked in there too, dude. I saw it, bro. I seen some shit. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I'll
Don't
go
knock
as
that
deep
like
as you'll let me.
Dude.
Miss Wilkinson.
Yeah, Miss Wilkinson, dude. She's about 70 years old, but you can tell at one time she was banging. She's a cute old lady, dude. And she'll put you in a fucking full Nelson and make you lick her titties, dude. I'll tell you that right now. She's a wild kid, dude. And good luck trying to stab that one, man. I'll tell you what. But anyways, dude. I got a quick joke before we get started, okay?
Okay, I'm excited.
Oh, shit.
Okay, this joke's for you, Anthony, all right?
For me?
Yeah. Why did the chicken cross the road?
That's an age-old question. I don't know. Why did he cross the road?
To get to the dumbass's house.
I don't get it.
Hey, Anthony, knock, knock.
Oh, who's there?
What's up, dumbass? It's the chicken. Sorry, that joke, you're a dumbass.
All right, let's get
Anyways,
into
dude,
this.
let's get
thing.
started, dude.
We're
Let's
gonna
go,
get
dude.
started. Thank you guys for listening. Cam,
Hey,
thank you for being here.
it's quite a privilege to be here.
Yeah, dude.
I remember before the podcast started, because Chad and I lived together for a couple of years, right? And
What was that like?
It was good. It was good. It was foundational for my new life. You
Best
know?
roommate I've ever had. Hands
And then so I remember because
Sorry, Amy.
Yeah, Chad's always got these crazy fucking ideas, and he's always like, I don't know, he's always like has these new endeavors. And I remember one time he's like, I'm gonna start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, being the good friend, I'm like, cool, man. Like, you should pursue that, right? And like, because I've heard like a million other stories prior to that.
Uh huh.
2 weeks later, there was boxes in our living room. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? He's like, bro, it's my podcast equipment. I was like, you're really doing this? He's like, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
we're
dude.
coming up on 6 months. I think
Yeah.
2 weeks out we'll be running consistently for 6 months.
Good.
That's fucking wild, right?
It is, yeah.
Well, I think that we need to get right in. And Chad had made a comment. You guys met in DOC, and I knew that. And whenever I hear that story, I'm always like, man, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like some movie shit, man. Because you guys got out and kind of rectified, like I'd say completely rectified your lives. And we'll get into that. But the best way to start this podcast is to kind of get to know you, who
Okay.
you are, where did it all start, where were you born?
I was born in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, up top.
Upstate New York, Buffalo, never ducking low.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
was-
Casey Setlock, baby.
I always get shit from people that are like from the city.
Yeah.
And they're, like I can hear their accents like when I at work or something. I'm like, hey, where are you from? They're like, oh, I'm from the Bronx. And I'm like, cool, I'm from Syracuse. Like, get out of here. That ain't New York. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
might as
bro,
well be Michigan.
yeah, it's like, bro, I'm
Yeah.
a Knicks fan too. You know what I'm saying? It's been a rough year for all of us.
Oh, it's been
It's been a rough
year.
decade for all of us. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, what?
Yeah, dude.
You
Give
know?
me your money. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was born in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
I remember my mom always told this story about like how we wound up in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Is that God like told her that she needed to go there. So one day my mom went to my dad and was like, "Hey, I'm moving to Prescott Valley, Arizona. I'm taking the kids with me. You can either stay or you can go." And my dad was like, "All right, well I guess I'm moving to Prescott Valley, Arizona." And then that's how I wound up in Yavapai County.
She'll put you in a
sh-
fucking full Nelson and make you lick her titties.
Okay, so your parents moved out here. Did you have siblings?
Yeah,
I
my mom was pregnant with my little sister at the time, and my little brother was probably 2 or 3 at the time.
Okay, how old were you at the time?
We moved out here in February of '97, which would have made me almost 7.
Okay, that makes sense. So your parents, are they still together?
My parents are not together. They split when I was about, I don't know, 16, 17. I don't remember.
So about 9 years out here, a little while. So you said you moved out here to Prescott,
Yeah.
and then you stayed out there and went to what? The rest of your elementary school, a little bit of middle school, or what?
Yeah. I did all of my schooling there.
In Prescott.
In Prescott, yeah. I went to the first middle school, or the first elementary school I went to was called Lake Valley. I went from there to Coyote Springs.
Okay, wait. Clear this up for me. Is it Prescott or is it Prescott?
Prescott.
Okay, so people that, I guess it depends on where you're from.
What if you're from Prescott?
Yeah. What if you're
I
from
think
Prescott?
people from Prescott say it with an I, but I mean it's clearly a no. And me being the word Nazi that I am, like it's an O, and I'm going to pronounce it as
Prescott.
such. That's just me though.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't say anything.
Word Nazi.
Well, you shouldn't say anything followed by the word Nazi. It's probably not a good idea. But
It's
yeah.
an expression.
Anyways, yeah.
I apologize.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Prescott.
yeah, it's like being from Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois.
There's an S at the end, bro. So I mean, if you're gonna
Do you pronounce it like? Do you say Arkansas?
Yeah, dude. Shit, bro. Anyways,
Oh, I guess I
continue
didn't
on,
think
dude.
about that. No,
Stop
okay,
interrupting
we're-
us,
okay,
David.
No, we're doing well. So, grew up, went
Check.
to school out there, and then what? Did you finish high school?
I did not finish high school. So, what happened is when I was 14 years old, this is like the story about how I dropped out of school. Okay. So when I was 14 years old, I met this dude named Chris. He was like my best friend for like years and years. Like we were in an Offspring cover band together for years. And like we grew up.
What do you do in the band?
Offspring
play
cover
guitar.
band.
Yeah.
Nice.
Offspring cover band. That's a true story.
The kids aren't all right.
No, we were not all right at 14. I promise you that.
Okay.
And then, so I started smoking weed when I was like 14 years old. That was like the first time like I'd ever experimented with any illicit substance. And that's what we did. It's like we smoked weed. And like I got this bright idea that like going to his house and not going to school and watching South Park was like a better idea than going to school. So,
How do you do in school before that?
I mean,
I
I don't know.
what do you mean you don't know?
I mean, I don't think I did like terrible.
No, you didn't.
I mean, I never.
I'm telling you right now. I know how I did. Ask me how I did in school. I did fucking great. I remember.
No,
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I never failed.
Yeah,
You know.
just all right.
Yeah, I mean,
C's and B's.
yeah. Well,
C's and D's.
I never failed.
Yeah. Okay. So you and Chris start smoking weed,
Yeah.
and then it's just downhill from there.
Well, yeah. Like, so when I was like 15 years old, I think a lot of 15-year-olds have this like idea that they know better than their parents.
For sure.
So I went to my mom and dad. I was like, Mom, Dad, I have this great proposal for you. I'm going to enter the workforce. I'm going to stop working. My dad was like, absolutely not. You're 15. Your ass belongs in school.
Oh, you're gonna leave school. And
Yeah, and so obviously that didn't work out. And then my mom and dad's relationship was kind of on the outs about that time, and I learned pretty easily like that I could manipulate my mother, because I know parents say they don't have favorite kids, but I'm my mom's first kid. I was definitely her favorite kid, and I exploited that.
Yeah.
And she ended up taking me out of school. My dad didn't know about it for months. So I dropped out in the latter half of my sophomore year.
Oh my god, that'll cause a fucking riff.
It was.
What did you do all day? Your dad was at work.
Yeah, I mean, I just did 15-year-old shit.
Yeah, you
You know,
didn't join the workforce.
I didn't. Well, I mean, I got this job bussing tables at this little restaurant that's in the Safeway shopping center, like right off the 69, and I just used to work weekends.
Yeah,
I mean, it was enough money for like an ounce of swag.
burnout.
You know what I mean? So Chris and I could go smoke in the culverts
Oh no.
up at the park. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my life, man.
Did you get into any other trouble, or just like a little burnout?
When I got a little bit of trouble when I was younger, but most of my the remainder of my high school years, like I was never in trouble.
No.
I don't think I was.
Okay.
I could be. I mean, typical stuff. Like I never got arrested.
Okay. Well, I know you end up in DOC. So what, does the drugs just continue to progress? Is that kind of what it looked like?
That is exactly what happened. So I started smoking weed. I started drinking. Mom and dad split up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm bouncing back and forth between their house. And then after my parents split up, I was like 17 years old. I had my own apartment. I was living with a good friend of mine that I grew up with. And I had this, really good job. I was working the drive-thru at Taco Bell.
Oh, crushing numbers.
Yeah,
dude.
killing it, bro. I'm telling you, I was killing it. But about that time, like I started drinking a little bit, but like that's like the first time I found cocaine was when I was like 17 years old, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. I don't know if
me
you guys,
too.
I thought, I mean, I knew I had found myself at that point, you know. But you can't maintain a cocaine habit.
And I wrote it hard.
You wrote it
I
super
wrote it,
hard.
yeah. You can't maintain a cocaine habit and work for like $7.65 an hour.
No,
You
not
know?
well.
Well, I
so
mean-
what? So what did you do?
Well, I got in trouble for stealing from Taco Bell.
What were you stealing? Hot sauce?
Money.
Oh,
For
that's,
sure, money.
that's smarter. That'll
Yeah,
get you more
so
cocaine than
it
the
was
hot
like
sauce
before
would.
like the chip readers were a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so it used to be like a separate machine. Like now, like when you run your credit card, like it's usually something that's already like attached to the computer, and it like as soon as you like run the check closes. But the way it was like a separate entity, right? So I could like swipe their card and like take their money for like the actual payment, and then like on the way out the window, I'd swipe their card again, so I have their information on the machine, and then I just double run their card. And at the end of the day, I would just take the extra money that was out of the drawer.
Wow.
So the drawer was even.
So the drawer, like the cash and the card, were all audited together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
what a failed system.
This was 2008.
Yeah.
You know.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's genius. I'm actually not allowed in any Harkins theater for trying to do something very similar to that, but they caught me. But anyways, we'll tell that story later.
That's for another
I still
day.
go to Harkins. You ain't gonna stop me.
Okay, so you're 17, 18 years old. How long are you in Prescott? Do you just stay there?
I was there until the end of 2013. So from 97 to the end of 13, I was there.
Okay. And so drug addiction just ramps up.
Yeah, it got real bad. So my mom was sick for a long time, and my mom had, you know, all kinds of pain meds. And, you know, I went from cocaine to pain meds, and my mom quickly wasn't my mother anymore. She became like the person that I got drugs from.
Yeah.
And that significantly diminished the quality of our relationship. And then I started smoking meth, and that was my favorite thing.
Were you living at home during all this?
I was bouncing back and forth between mom and dad's until my dad moved to Safford in like 2010.
Damn.
2010.
Right.
But when my dad moved to Safford, I basically stayed at my mom's house.
Where were your siblings at during all this?
My mom lost custody of my little brother and my little sister, and they were living with my dad in Safford.
No kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What'd she lose custody of him for?
I'm just inability. Inability's kind of
Bad
harsh.
choices?
Yeah, she was getting high, man. You know, she was like I said, she was sick for a long time, and then, you know, she was sober for a long time. Like her and my dad met in recovery, and, you know, the whole reason she moved out here was like for God and the church and stuff. And, you know, she ended up we started getting high together when I was like 14. We started smoking weed, and then, you know, she had all the pain meds that was prescribed to her, and then, you know, she was abusing those, and then she went from that to drinking again, and then, you know, we were doing meth and cocaine together.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's a story, dude. So
Yeah.
your parents met in recovery.
They did, yeah. They met in recovery in Syracuse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'd have to check with my
Yeah,
dad.
I remember your dad was telling the story about how he met your mom.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, we were fucking banging around, going to meetings,
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
fucking doing all this recovery stuff. And
Chad's been telling that story for years now.
Well, dude, because your dad's awesome. Let me tell you that.
He's a
right
good
now.
guy.
And he's like 30 years sober, 29
31.
years sober? 31 years sober?
31 years sober. Yeah.
Okay, so when you jumped to your dad's house, what did he do? Did he force you into treatment? and
Well,
stuff?
there's some things that led up to me going to my dad's house.
Yeah.
It was really like I was out of options. So in order to tell you about how I got to my dad's house, I have to tell you about a couple other things that happened. March of 2010, my mom died. My little brother woke up and they just happened to be there on spring break. My dad drove them up from Safford for their spring break to spend time with their mom or our mom. And my little brother woke up, found my mom dead on the couch.
From what? Sickness
Her
and-
cancer had come back, but she was in it. She had pneumonias in and out, and she was on a lot of medication, and she just, you know, I'm not sure like the exact cause of death. Like I never saw that. Like the pastor of my mom's church took care of everything for me. She got my mom cremated. She held the service. She did everything that needed to be done for me. You know, which I'm super grateful for.
Yeah, the church showed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so my mom died, and then I managed to pull it together. I was still getting high, abusing pain meds and smoking meth. But I got this job. I was 19. I got this job at IHOP.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I've worked at IHOP for
You stay down in the
100
IHOP.
years.
Dude, IHOP, are you listening?
for 100
What
years.
a
I've
loyal
worked there.
fucking
So-
servant.
Yeah. So I get this job, right? And I'm still smoking meth, and then what happens is my my best friend that I grew up with, Chris. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. Like I'm going to attribute his death to alcoholism. Okay.
Jesus,
because
bro.
what happened was him and his girlfriend were together for a couple years, and they had this baby, and they had a very turbulent relationship, and they were always fighting and getting drunk and like shooting heroin together, and it was crazy. So what happened is him and his baby mama are in the back of his mom's van driving down Spouse Drive in Prescott. It was Prescott Valley, and they're fighting, and he's drunk. He gets this crazy idea that he's gonna like jump out of the van because he wants to get away from her or whatever. I wasn't there. This is just like the story that I've heard from the people that were there. And what happened is he opened the sliding door on the side, and he jumped out of the van, and his mom basically like ran his head over, and he was like in a vegetative state for like 4 or 5 days until he ended up passing. And then so that's really like that's when my will to carry on, like, kind of, because I knew my mom was going to pass, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because she was sick for a long time, but like, it was like my best friend, man. You know what I mean? Like we spent years together. We lost our virginities together, got our first cars together.
Okay, wait.
Not together. I already knew where you were going. I already knew where you were going with that. But no, like we had a lot of.
No, you just shared all that
stuff. We were close, man. We were really
joke.
close for a lot of time, and he died without my permission, man. Like he left behind a daughter and a girlfriend and a mom.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
you had a kid at a young age. Huh?
Yeah. Really
How old
young.
were you at that time?
He died September 6th of 2013.
Okay.
So I was 23, which means he was 23 also.
God.
So like my dad's living in Safford with my stepmom and my brother and my sister, and he comes up from Safford, being like the good family member that he is, like knowing that I'm going through some shit, and he's like, hey man, like, why don't you come down and live with us?
Yeah.
He had offered me that like prior, and I was like, nah, I got shit to do, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then but I was out of options. I was homeless. Couldn't stop getting high. I'd already overdosed. Twice. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like just the best option at the time. So my dad comes and swoops me, and I go back down to Safford, and so this is that's like 2 days after Chris's funeral. So it's like, I want to say September 17th of 2013, I wind up in Safford, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I wound up in Safford.
We're going to take an early break. We have to. David's got technical difficulties.
Okay.
We're going to take an early break. We're going to have a super long second half. But yeah, we're into it. So you get out there, and the era of Prescott's over, and we'll start picking up in Safford, right?
Yeah, this is where the story gets real interesting.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Good evening, my friends. It's Commander Cutie, Mr. Chudsy Wubsy from the Last Week Out podcast, and we've got some exciting news for y'all. Over here at the Last Week Out podcast, we are produced by Slack Media, and they have a special promotion going on right now. If you are a two-legged Homo sapien or a millennial who just had a meaningful conversation and have the urge to put it on the internet, we're just the people for the job. We record, edit, and update and post. Update and post. What the fuck is update? Why did I say update?
You can update stuff.
I guess you can update stuff. Listen, dude, you want to fucking do a podcast? Guess what? We're the ones that can do it for you. We can edit, mix, master, and produce the whole thing, and we can help you figure out, do you know what an RSS feed is? Because I sure didn't when I started this, but because of Slack Media, now I do. So if you have a podcast and you want to get it started and you want to skip all the difficult stuff, go ahead and email slackmediallc@gmail.com. Or you can, god damn it, dude. Or you can slide in our DMs at the Last Week Out on Instagram. Get on in there. Love you. Bye. Hey there, David. What's it like in Computer City? We're having technical difficulties and we had to switch cameras. That's okay.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
No one something like you do.
When you do. And And we're back, dude. Sorry about that, dude. We're just getting into some shit with fucking Mr. Cam, Mr. Killer Cam, and we had left
Cameron,
off, dude. We had left off. He's a wild kid, and he's smoking methamphetamines.
That's
right. So there's nothing like any story after the sentence, and then I really started to love smoking methamphetamine. It's not going to be boring. I'll tell you that, dude. So take it back, Anthony. Let's talk about it.
No, you moved over to Safford.
Yeah.
With your dad.
Yep.
Okay. And so how did that go? Initially.
Initially?
Yeah, not bad.
Well, I mean, nothing had changed from Prescott.
Yeah, he brought you with you.
I did bring me with me.
Yeah, it's always a failure.
Yeah, I mean, I got this job.
Taco Bell?
No, Denny's.
Denny's.
Yeah.
IHOP, don't
nemesis.
listen. Don't listen.
No, I got this job and like I pulled it together for a couple months, but I was like, still smoking weed, and then I ended up meeting some people that
And you had
could get me mad.
really long hair too, right? Like
No,
down to your ass?
I cut my hair like right after my mom died.
Oh, did you?
I had long hair most of my life, and then when my mom died, that was like my. It's like I had permission to cut it then, because my mom always gave me a hard time.
So that
about
had to
not
be
cutting it.
really weird with your father at that time, 20 plus years in the program of
Yeah.
Alcoholics Anonymous. Was like, I'm interested in knowing, was he ever like, hey, you need to go to these meetings, or you're a drug addict, or was he just kind of like, you're going to make your own decisions, and if you're ready, you're ready?
No, he never like suggested recovery on me. He suggested like the Salvation Army at one time, but he never pushed it on me.
And you're like, Dad, you're fucking tripping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when do you start getting in trouble?
So my dad kicks me out.
Okay.
Obviously, because I'm not working, and I'm just kind of using his house as like a crash pad.
Yeah, shower spot.
Yeah. So the first time I got in trouble, so I'm not a very good thief. I never have been.
No?
No. So I'm like running around with some of these dudes like in this trailer park in Safford, and I peel this dude's Xbox One back, or 360.
Yeah.
360.
He's
I don't
probably a
remember.
360.
It was probably a
360,
360. Yeah.
But also, you are a good thief because you stole my heart.
That was clever.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I didn't
I'm gonna
even
use
see-
that later.
I didn't even know you did.
Yeah. So I peel this dude's Xbox back, and I go to like the only GameStop in like all of Graham County, and then the guy is like, oh, someone stole my Xbox. Like, I wonder where it is, and then they like, oh yeah, this is it. We have it. They had me on camera. So I used to shoot pool at this bar. All the times I got arrested in Safford, it was always at this bar. So they come and jam me up one night, and I get arrested, and I go to jail for a month. And I remember like thinking to myself, like, while I'm in jail, I'm like, yo, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like I remember it was like, I remember having like long conversations with it about like other people in there about like, we got to do something different, man.
Mm-hmm. Just a band of thieves coming together. I mean, we got to change our ways.
And the crazy
man.
thing about it is like, I truly meant it.
Yeah.
At that time in my life, like under those circumstances, like I really thought I was done.
Yep. And so you get out.
And I have a needle in my arm 4 hours later.
No shit.
No shit.
Out the gate at 8 and in the spoon by noon.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Who was that? That guy Stitch that said that?
Yeah.
That said that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what? You're on probation?
Yeah, so I get released on probation, right? And obviously, like, I can't go see my probation officer, like, yacked out of my mind. So I don't go see him.
Yeah.
And, I make it like 11 days before I get caught up on, like, some new charges. A buddy of mine that I was running with was breaking into cars and stealing all kinds of shit from the cars. And, like, he came up on this debit card. And, I was the only one stupid enough to use it.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a PIN number, so I just have to go to places where, I went to the bar that I shot pool at. I went to like a couple gas stations and got like meaningless shit. Like I probably only spent like, it was like just over $200, So what happened is 11 days after I got out of jail that time, I get arrested for forgery.
Because you use that debit card.
It's not because I use the debit card. It's because what happens is like when you run a credit, like with a debit card, you don't, or if you use the PIN number, you don't have to sign for it.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't have the PIN number, obviously, because it wasn't my debit card.
So you ran a credit.
So I ran the credit. So I
sign.
faked I just like bullshit a signature on the thing.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they got me for forgery on like 4 or 5 transactions. I don't remember what it is. They had me on camera for every one of them,
Yeah.
And then, so then I get taken to jail again.
And this time you're going for a little bit?
Well, no.
Okay.
I actually had a no. So I get sentenced. They re-sentence me. They're like, you know, 'cause so like I got filed with new charges, and it's also like my petition A, which is like your first probation violation.
Yeah.
So they sentenced me to like 100 days, the remainder of which can be suspended upon entry to a treatment facility.
Nice.
Right. So I, you know, because I'm like a sentenced person in the jail, I get to move to like it's like the honored dorm or like the work furlough pod, right? Like
trustee.
So
You're
the
a
trustee.
trustee.
Yeah. So I'm like in this little, you know, in like the special part of the jail where like the work furlough dudes are and like the people that work in the jail, and I'm like vacuuming the sheriff's office. Like PJ Allred was the sheriff at the time in Graham County, and I'm like vacuuming his office and like emptying the paper shredders, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm allowed to leave the jail and like, you know, like walk the perimeter and, you know, go. I used to water the plants at the juvie next door.
Oh, you have a long history of plant watering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is and now
Goes back years.
You're
Yeah.
about to talk about when you were in the newspaper, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there. So what happened is one of the work furlough guys was bringing in some meth, and you know,
What an awful drug to bring into jail.
I know, and then it is truly it's crazy to think about, and we always like had this like all the guys that like got in trouble, we all had this narrative of like, yo, that homie ratted us out, and we're just like, nah, bro, like we were up at 3 a.m. playing spades.
Yeah.
Like for sure we're gacked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sleep was like the thing to do in jail.
Yeah. Well,
If I
mean,
see someone not sleeping in jail, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
no, initially, like when I got there, I mean, I slept.
Yeah, stay
For
slept.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we ended up, you know, me and a bunch of the other guys, you know, rightfully so, made it on the cover of the Eastern Arizona Courier.
So what, they like kicked in the dorms, flipped all the beds, found the meth?
Well, no, what happened is they just came in and you ate everybody. At this time, like I'm not like
How did that get in my system?
well, yeah, I'm not like, you know, hip to like institutional politics. Well, as far as like the prison environment's concerned, so I don't know that I'm not supposed to take this UA, and I drop a hot UA, and then they send me to the hole, and then my probation officer, like 3 days later, this guy who I'd never met walks in and he says, cool, man, like you need to sign this, and then I have a court date. And I remember like meeting with my public defender before the court date, Daisy Flores. What a nice lady. And she comes up to me. She's like, because she did my probation case for the Xbox thing, right?
Okay.
So she comes up to me. She's like, hey, you know, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. You know, 23-hour lockdown. Everything's, you know, going just the way it should, I suppose. And she says, cool. Well, they're done with your shit. So here are your options. You can either take this case to trial, or you can sign for 2.5 years. And I didn't even hesitate.
You just took it.
Well, I mean, if there was another option other than trial, I probably wouldn't have even considered that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anything, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my mom's gone. My friends that I grew up with are off doing their own thing or dead. And, you know, my dad doesn't want anything to do with me. And, I have nothing on the outside of those doors.
Right.
And, I mean, it just seemed like the easiest option.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay here then.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay here.
Okay.
You know? What it sounded like was 2 years of housing.
Yeah.
You know?
Rough, dude.
Well...
Yeah, no, well,
hindsight, it's not rough.
Yeah.
Initially, it was, you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared going in.
Yeah.
But, you know, fortunately, like, you know, I'm locked up with like the baddest of the bad in county jail, and like, you know, I got some good education prior to my arrival.
Uh-huh.
Didn't need much of it, but that's not the point, you know.
So you end up getting transferred to DOC?
Yeah, so they sentenced me May of 15, and then I hit the yard, I think, the first week of June.
How old were you? 24, 25?
About to be 25.
Yeah.
So 24 years old. Yeah. So I hit the yard. Yeah. It was.
How's prison?
I had a blast.
Did you really?
I really did. Like, and I think I had a blast because it was. It was the only thing. It was the only option I had.
Right.
And I made the best out of it.
Okay.
You know, like I still, you know, talked to a couple people that I was locked up with, and like we're still really good friends, and they're all doing the right thing. And I mean, I didn't, you know, I chose to work. And what's funny is I worked at breakfast in prison too, which is
called it I Hope.
Running theme of my life. But I had fun, man. And I was, you know, getting high every opportunity I could while I was in there.
Yeah.
Shooting heroin.
We really were having a blast in there, because let me tell you something, dude. I don't fucking know if I'm supposed to be racist or not.
There's that. That was, but once I got to where we were, it wasn't an issue. But Cam was a hustler, dude. Okay, Cam had New Balances on. Cam always had a cup of coffee. Cam always had a dip in his mouth, dude. Like he always had something, but no one was putting money on his books. Never, dude.
What
But
were
he
you
was
doing?
Hustling.
Well,
What
I
were you
mean,
hustling,
was it?
though?
Well, I mean,
hustling, not just
so
hustling, all kinds
I was
of
never a
different
big
things.
poker guy.
Okay.
But what happens is like poker's pretty popular in prison.
Yeah.
And if I just clicked up with the right dudes, and what they do is they'd rotate the races inside of prison. So like for a 2-week period, like they'd go by like how people got paid by the state, like on their jobs. So the blacks would get it one for a set of 2 weeks. The paisas would get it for 2 weeks. The Chicanos would get it for 2 weeks, and the white boys would get it for 2 weeks.
Get what?
The poker table. They get to
okay.
run the poker table, and everyone could play on this poker table, and they did it that way. So it was, so there was like no problems, you know what I mean? So everyone just got like their 2-week session. And I clicked up with this dude who was
So would they take a rake?
What do you
Like, is
mean?
that how it works? Like, when you run the poker table, then the guys running it make some money somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly how it goes.
Got it.
Yeah. So what happens is like the house takes so many, like, so we just run poker, like they do live poker, you know what I mean? And then the blinds would just go to the house. And then if we ran a tournament, there would be an entry fee for like so much, you know what I mean? We just kept all of that, and we did just do as many as we could for a 2-week period. And the guys that run the table get to split everything up.
God.
Yeah,
it's its own little world.
I also used to clean people's cubicles.
Cubicle.
Well, I had no money, dude. Like, and I was working for like, I don't know, I think 25 cents I was a baker in prison. I used to cook the biscuits and like make the pancake batter and make the cake and stuff. So I had no money. So what happened is somebody suggested to me, like, well, why don't you get like a little fucking house cleaning gig? So I had like 15 people that on a weekly basis would pay me. It's like I just, pull their boxes out, and I'd like wipe the top of their little locker off, and I'd sweep and mop the inside underneath their bed, and you know what I mean? They'd pay me like $3 a week or whatever to do that.
Oh,
and I had like 15 people that would pay me on a weekly basis.
Oh, so you're getting looted up from that.
Well, I mean, I just, I think that's like the drive that I have to like stay busy or like find a way to be okay or like jump through hoops, whatever it is. I think it really started from like me cleaning people's cubicles in prison.
No kidding. Well, I mean,
because I had no other option, dude.
Right.
I had no other option. Like you see all the people there's some people that live good in prison, bro.
I just can't handle.
It's like the
that
only
stuff,
thing
dude.
they're missing. Like, I mean, they've got food, they've got
freedom.
TVs. Yeah, well, and
Women.
That's
Yeah.
probably it, because I think a lot of people function better on the inside, anyways. But
Yeah, and like safety. Safety is pretty important. Sometimes people don't feel very safe in there, I hear.
well, I never had a problem.
No.
No, I mean,
Well, you're a strong young man.
well, I just knew how to behave.
You ever get any fistfights in there?
I did
Yeah. I mean, how many fistfights you been in out here?
a lot.
Out here recently in
Well,
the last
not-
5 years.
In the last no,
Yeah.
because I've been out. For
That's how the world is, though. Like, normally, it's like, fist fighting's not really like
well, when I was getting strung out in Safford, I was running with like, some dudes that thought they were badass, and like,
Right.
got my ass whooped a couple times. Dude.
No, I've hung out around people who
Handled,
like,
bro.
It's like, whoa, dude, like you're liable to get in a fist fight. But like me, normally, I mean, America's pretty cupcake. It's kind of nice. I don't have to worry about like being hurt at any given time,
Right.
unless like I get in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing. So you meet Chad.
Yeah, so
in prison.
Yeah, so the chow hall story he told is 100% true. That's
Yeah.
exactly how the dialogue between us.
And you're getting high in there.
Yeah, shooting heroin.
Because this is the important stuff. This is what's important to me.
Okay.
Is you guys end up meeting, and then you end up being like in our weird sober cult.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Okay, so Chad finished his winter solstice on the yard.
Yeah.
I finished
Hard
out.
time,
I finished
dude.
like the remainder, like the other year or whatever I have left on my sentence, and then I get out and I reach out to him on Facebook. When I tell the story, like it's always so much more poetic when I talk about the phone number. But like the truth is,
let's go.
You didn't give me a phone number. I
Hold
hit you up on
hold
Facebook.
I want to go back just a little bit, though. I want to
Okay.
go back just a little bit because, for one, prison is like this weird subculture where all these different things are going on. Like you got people who know how to sew. You got people who are electricians that can hook up like these
Remotes to TVs.
Remotes to TVs, dude. They
Crazy,
can take
bro.
the headphones and give you external speakers, dude, and like they can like fucking hook you up, dude. You
Yeah.
got people that can like do anything in there. It's really, really crazy, dude. And I remember like it was just so cool because we would just be
hanging tough, dude.
Yeah.
Like just sitting in my bed, watching TV, drinking coffee, eating burritos, dude. Like we were chilling, dude, working out. We were out there filling up T-shirts and pant legs up with sandbags and lifting them up and down, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember, dude, when Cam started working out, dude, couldn't do a push-up.
Not
Couldn't
one.
I
do a
could do
push-up.
push-up. I could do push-ups when I hit the yard because the
Couldn't
guy
do a push-up
that schooled
and-
me in county was like, "You need to start working out
And couldn't
right
do
now."
a pull-up either, dude. By the time I was done with them, dude,
8.
No, that's
he
not
was-
true.
pull-ups.
Dude, he was
That's not
killing
true.
it, bro. He was freaking
That's not
killing
true.
That's not true. No, I started working
it,
out in
dude.
county. Just as soon as I knew I was going to prison, like I was talking to one of the guys, one of the guys that had like been there before. He's like, "You need to start working out right now." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I don't work out." He's like, "You're gonna."
Well, yeah, when I thought I was going down,
He's like, "It's
I
not
was-
an option."
I was pushing the earth down, bro,
Yeah.
constantly,
Yeah. So,
nonstop.
but yeah, so Chad and I
Well,
did kick it tough.
hold on, and I want to talk about this too because I remember you would come with me to the meeting that I started, the Big Book study.
Yeah.
You came with me a few times, and then we started talking about the steps. I don't know if you remember, and I know for some of our listeners, like some of the jargon I'm about to use might be extremely foreign to you, but for the majority of our listeners, you know,
She'll
what
put
we're
you in a
talking
fucking
about.
full Nelson and make you lick her titties.
That's right. But I remember, dude, is like you and I were reading the book, okay,
Yeah.
and we had gotten to a fourth step, right? And
Because I
remember,
didn't want anything to do with 1, 2, or 3.
Right, exactly.
Well,
dude.
1 was easy. I was in prison. 2 and 3, you can miss me with that shit.
Mm-hmm. And then we were talking about your dad, and you were like, "I fucking hate my dad, dude."
Fuck that guy.
You're like, "Fuck that guy." But
Yeah.
later, I didn't find out till way after when we were out of prison. You're like, "Yeah, my dad's celebrating 30 years of continuous sobriety and Alcoholics Anonymous," and I
Yeah.
was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And you're just now telling me this now?
Right.
Oh my god, it was a wild experience, dude. But I remember when I was leaving, dude, and like Cam was like, "You better answer the phone when I get out, dude. I swear to God."
Did I say that?
Yeah, dude. You were like, "Dude, don't you?" You were like, "Don't let me down. Don't let me down."
Don't
And you know what you
let
did?
me
I remember you sent me
down.
an acceptance letter to the halfway house you were managing at the time.
That's
But
right, I
but
did.
I couldn't go because it wasn't DOC approved at the time. So I had to go to 27th Avenue in Orangewood.
I've been there before.
That halfway house or 27th Avenue Orangewood?
No, that halfway house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you get out
Yeah.
and you hit up Chad.
I do. I hit him up on Facebook.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Why?
well, I mean, I'm new to Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
I don't know anybody. Like I said, I grew up in Prescott, and I don't know anybody. And like, again, I'm out of options.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on this real quick. Like, I know you're running the show, but I just want to.
No,
I
you're
want
running
to.
the show.
I want to talk about like the fear that I had. Right. Like I remember like the day I got out, November 15th of 2016. I'm standing in the Sallyport and I'm watching. I'm watching the Sallyport gate open. And I got the white shoes that they give you, and the blue pants, and the blue shirt, and the
Yeah.
and I'm holding this white box that I've held so dear for the last couple years, and I'm watching this gate open, man. And I just remember thinking like, there's nothing on the other side of that for me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I was truly like struck with fear, more fear than I like when I got sentenced. Right? Like I was like, ah, shit, this is real. But like. This fear paralyzed me for a little while. I was like, because I mean, I truly felt like I was just going to end up back here.
Yeah. You built a life in there.
A network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need
Connections.
anything. You know what I mean? I have
Wow.
everything I need, and I was really scared to get out. I actually turned down. There's this Senate bill that passed called like the 1291, I think.
SB 1291.
I turned it down.
I don't know what you're
It was
saying.
it was like a 90-day kick out. You get out 90 days early if you do these classes or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I turned down, like, I stayed in there for another 3 months. And then, like, my TR date came, and I was like, can I refuse this? She's like, no, you can't. Like, this is it,
Holy
I was
shit,
scared,
dude.
bro. I was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
scared. You know what's funny? I've never told that story, like,
No, it's
in
powerful,
in a
though.
public domain before.
Yeah.
But I did. I was scared, So then I get out, and get out on a Wednesday, and Dill came by from the yard, and he dropped off some clothes and bought me some groceries, which was really cool. And that's the only thing I had. I didn't have anything else. So the next day I found Chad on Facebook, and he's like, hey man, let's go to a meeting. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, he was not having it.
Was
bro.
not having it, but I didn't have anything else to do, man. And so he came and swooped me, and he took me, actually the church that he took me to was like right around the corner from where we're at right now. Listen to this dude yell at me, talk about how if I don't do this whole recovery thing, then I'm going to die. And then I was like, that was fun. And then he drops you back off. And then the next day I still don't have any options. So I call Chad again. And then he comes and gets me, takes me, to this other place in Phoenix by David's old house. And, I see the same Puerto Rican dude. And, I remember, thinking, this is so silly.
Yeah.
I truly, remember thinking, how ridiculous, the book and the meetings and all this other shit that people do. But the one thing, I want to say fully comprehend was that everybody there was okay, or seemingly so. And I knew I was in the right place, man. And, even though I wasn't entirely willing to, do what was required, I still kept going.
Well, that's crazy you say that, because since I've known you, you've been utterly willing to do what was asked.
Right.
When did that transition happen?
I can't pinpoint a specific moment.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was just out of options for so many years.
Yeah.
And I just did you know what I mean? Get high. Oh, go to prison. Oh, go to this halfway house. I stumble upon these meetings, and now it's fuck, now I got to do what these dudes do. Yeah. I can't even articulate it. I can't think of a moment or a feeling that I had at any time that was just oh yeah, I guess I'm going to do this now. I think I just stumbled upon it.
Well, that's wild, dude. That sounds fucking crazy to me, because there's things in my life that I know are going to work for me.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
I had no idea this was going to work.
Right.
No idea.
That's bananas.
It just...
Okay, so tell me sort of a little bit about where you are now, because where you're at now is pretty fucking crazy, at least in my mind. Coming out of walking out of a prison in prison clothes with a prison box, being there's nothing for me out here.
Yeah.
You have a pretty full life.
Yeah, because technically,
Today
due to the statistics, right, and your demographic and the drugs that you use and recidivism rates, recidivism rates, dude, you're supposed to be in prison right now.
Yeah, 80% chance.
And you're not, dude. You're not. And so tell us a little bit about that. You're in college. You're managing a halfway house. You got a car that you didn't have a license for a long time.
10 years. I didn't have a license.
10 years you didn't have a license, dude.
Yeah.
10 years.
Wait, so you had one for 1 year?
Yeah, I got a DUI 30 days after I turned 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
No license since then?
I didn't get my license till April of last year.
Yeah, so what's going on now with you? Chad kind of touched on a little bit of it.
Okay, so I don't know. What
You're in school?
I am in school.
What are you doing in school?
Right now I'm taking 4 classes. I started super easy. I started fall of last year. I took a remedial math class because obviously I don't know how to do fucking math because I dropped out. And then
where do you get your GED?
I got my GED in prison.
Okay.
They had to in order for me to get the outside job that I wanted to go do custodial work at this Air Force base or this National Guard base that they did. I had to get my GED.
Okay.
So I did that. That's one of the greatest things that I ever did was get my GED while I was in there. So I started school last fall. I took 2 BS classes, and then I was like, all right, I can do this.
Yeah.
I think I can do this. And then I took 3 classes last semester, and then I was like, I think this is it.
Yeah.
And then over the summer, something happened. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm just trying to I'm in a hurry to get wherever I'm going. I feel like I have to make up for all the lost time. So over the summer, I've had the same job since I've been out of prison. I still maintain that job. I started managing a sober living.
Yeah.
And then I took 2 classes. I took 2 accelerated classes over the summer. So instead of 16 weeks, they're only 4. So I took 2 of those over the summer. And then right before the semester started, this last couple weeks, I decided that I was going to take a full class load and manage a sober living and work full time. And somewhere along there, I started dating a girl too. So now my life is pretty goddamn full.
Yeah,
well,
full.
It's really crazy, dude, because the person you talked about before prison is not the person you are today. And I remember when you were about a year sober and we decided I was going through a tough time and a breakup, and I was living with a girl, and she moved out, and I was like, hey, you move in.
Yeah.
And you take this second bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, you owed, what, $5,000?
No, it was
$6,000,
yeah.
dude? Holy shit. And I think what's really interesting, and maybe you don't see it for yourself, dude, but you grinded so hard.
Yeah.
And it was such an inspiration to see that, to see you, waking up at 4 a.m. on the weekend so you can go to work and make big money on the weekends because you're serving at fucking the International House of Pancakes, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that's a really cool thing to touch on, dude, is like, what was your mindset? Because obviously the mindset of Cam before prison was not the dude that gets out of prison, pays off all his fines, jumps through all these hoops of the court. Like, what was your mindset going into that? Like, when you knew you had to pay $6,000 back, like, what was your thought behind that? Like, what am I gonna do?
So this is gonna sound super gay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I met this guy. Chad introduced me to this guy who ended up like walking me through my steps, right? And like, he was just very. He was actually a guest on this podcast. He's just very he's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And again, I was out of options, and you know, at the time I hadn't quite repaired the relationship with my dad, and like I don't really have any direction. And this guy kind of just took me under his wing, man, and like told me like, you kind of just pushed me in the right direction, and like, you know, like, why don't you work on your license? Why don't you go to school? Why don't you try that? You know what I mean? And like, I took everything he said as like the truth, you know what I mean? Like the spoken word of God, you know what I'm saying? And I just did it.
You just did it.
I can't explain it, man. It's not because some people talk about like making amends and like this great feeling. It's like, I did not feel good the entire time I was doing that. No, but it's just, what happened is somewhere in my life, I caught a little bit of traction. And like, I realized like, yo, I could be an adult.
Yeah.
You know, like I had to learn a lot of life skills. Like I didn't learn a lot of things until I got sober. Like, you know, how to pay bills, how to manage money, how to, you know what I mean? Like I hadn't been to the DMV in like 10 years, you know what I mean? Even longer than that. Like I didn't know how to do stuff like that or get health insurance and
go to the dentist.
I still haven't been to the dentist. Last time I was in the dentist was in prison, but I really learned a lot from this dude, and like he just kind of like pushed me in a direction, and he's like, you can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just continued to like take direction from not only him but from a lot of other people that I, you know, met in recovery, and it just turned out to be like the life that I have today, which is really crazy.
Yeah, well, where are you headed? Where do you want to head?
I'm glad I don't know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I struggle living right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we're doing this podcast, like truly that's the only thing that exists in our life right now. You know, I'm constantly like thinking about like, yo, ASU's next. And it's like, chill, bro. Like, why don't you pass intermediate algebra first?
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm constantly like thinking about like, what's next or what's the end, you know what I mean? Because I'm real good at jumping through hoops when like I know what I'm working towards. But right now, like I don't know what I'm working towards. Like I know that I want to graduate from ASU.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do know.
But you don't have a job in mind?
I don't even care. I just want to graduate. None of my family's ever graduated. Like I want, part of it's like, it's very poetic.
Okay.
You know, like reform bad boy.
Yeah.
Gets degree from ASU.
Oh my.
You know what I mean?
Well, that is fucking rad, because you're a rare fucking a rare breed. Sorry, dude. And like, you don't, I feel like, and maybe it's like this like humble side of you, which is probably working in your favor, dude, but like, you're a disciplined fucking dude. Like I remember when we lived together, it was like laundry's on this day, like I clean the floors on this day.
Yeah.
Like I go to this meeting at this time and I'm there an hour early on this day, dude.
Yeah.
And like, it's so wild that what comes so easy to you, for whatever reason, maybe it's just ingrained in your DNA, I don't know, but I feel like you have something that I don't, right? I make triple as much money as you, and I still owe money to the courts.
Right.
You know what I mean? You were serving tables and you paid off $6,000, dude.
Yeah.
You know, let's take a group of people, right? If we take a group of 10 people that all get sober, right, and they say they all have the exact same thing going on that you had.
Right.
Owed all this money, they had nothing on the outside for them, outside those prison walls, nothing for them, dude.
Yeah.
And 1 out of 10 people, you're that 1 out of 10 that actually does everything they need to do in order to like live a successful life. And it's a beautiful thing to watch you go through this, man. And I think maybe, dude, just like maybe don't give yourself any credit. I don't know. Maybe continue to be humble, but like you don't understand, man, like how beautiful your story is, especially to me, and seeing you come from nothing to something. And,
right.
And it's so fucking beautiful, dude. And it's like, where do you get the motivation? How do you wake up at 4 a.m., dude? I don't get it. How do you go to school? How do you set aside this money and do all these things to like better your life? I just don't understand.
The money question I can answer pretty easily right now.
Okay, cool.
It's
Fix the money problem.
It's an ego thing.
Okay.
I like I mean, because I never had money.
So now you just
And I'm
wanna
not like,
fucking
you know,
have it.
like, I don't like have a bunch of money in it, but I'm good with money. Like if I want to take a week off of work right now and go do some shit, go to New York, I mean, I could do whatever the fuck I want and I'd be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like an ego thing, really. Like I like being able to like be the guy and like, I don't know.
That's a powerful.
You want to go out, like, if people are always like, I don't have the money. I'm like, man, that sucks.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I got
Like,
the money and I'm
I don't
still
know.
not gonna
Like,
go
I've
out.
never felt financial insecurity since I've been sober, and I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Yeah.
And it's not because I make $100K a year. It's just one thing that I learned. And because I do things so compulsively, it plays in my favor in some ways, like with my money and with like the cleanliness of my life.
Where doesn't it play good?
You know what I hate?
Okay, go ahead.
People that are fucking late.
Late to what?
Anything. Any goddamn thing in the
What
world.
if it's just a normal thing though?
Bro,
Like, people get late.
I know that. I get it, dude. Like,
I know.
but it's just I just don't like. And I used to like walk. So I managed one of the stores.
You said you were
for-
going to be here at 4:30 today, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I was on my way. I was going to be 15 minutes early, but Chad was like, "Yo, I locked myself out of my house. Come get me."
Yeah.
I was here. I was right down the street from your house.
I believe that.
So,
I believe you too. Thanks, Chad.
I forgot what I was saying.
No, something about you manage something.
Oh yeah,
and
so I was
somebody's late.
managing this the IHOP that I worked at like when I first got out of prison, and I used to like walk to work,
Yeah.
and I don't understand how people like have these fucking vehicles and can't be on time.
Yeah, it's poor time management.
You know, I just little things like that. But I'm just so compulsive about being on time and like getting things accomplished, and like people are like sometimes I'm like baffled. Like Chad's like, I locked myself out of the house. I'm like, how do you do that? I've never locked myself out of the house. It's just like our brains just work differently.
They for sure do.
You know what I mean? Like Chad's a lot more creative and he's a lot more compassionate than I am. But I'm just so militant about so many things. It kind of makes me myopic sometimes.
Yeah,
You know.
I do.
You know why that is about Chad?
What?
Everything I know about anything you can put on a stick and shove right up my ass. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Well,
So-
so what about with relationships? How are your relationships with people? Friends. Let's start with friends.
I have some good friends in my life.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been trying to reach out more.
What does it mean to be a good friend to you?
What does it mean to be a good friend?
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't call me back.
Ooh.
I hate when people don't call me back.
No
And it's
kidding.
not like hey, like this is a weird number.
Have I ever done that to you?
Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
And it's not. I mean, we're friends. You know what I mean? That's not going to stop me. But I think about it.
Yeah.
I think about it because if somebody calls me, and especially if I have their number, I'm going to call them back.
Yeah.
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 I'm real big on. I can't explain what being a good friend is. Understanding's a big thing.
Compassion.
Because I lack that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm very. What's the word?
Sterile.
I am very sterile.
He's like
That's why
actually.
I was waiting this whole time, 56 minutes.
You're
I've
like
been
a
waiting for you
Purell.
to bring this up. Yeah.
No. No, we don't need to get too deep into it. But
We
then
can.
with your relationships, oh no, I don't mean that sterile. No.
I was like, here it is.
No. We don't need to jump into that. But you just have a different perspective than some people, and you're really disciplined. And
Yeah.
you say you don't have like future plans, but you have future not plans. What don't you want to do?
Have kids?
Yeah, that's one thing.
My own kids. I just
Yeah.
want to be super clear about that because there's like this narrative, like from all the people that know me, it's like, yo, Cam hates kids, and it's like I don't hate kids.
I don't like them.
It's not that I don't like them. It's just that I don't want any of my own.
Right.
I was thinking about how I was going to say this because I knew you were going to bring this up, and I'm trying to be as tactful as possible, but also convey how I feel about it.
Well, I've tried to get it out of you before.
And it's just I don't understand like people's desire to reproduce.
Yeah.
Like you're like not a normal human.
Okay.
Only today, in the sense that like what I mean, you did everything right. You got married, you bought a house, you and your wife got pregnant. You guys are gonna have this family, and I everyone that I grew up with, they just stumbled into having a kid. It wasn't like, yo, this is the best option right now. It's just like they were fucking careless.
Yeah.
And had shows like of all like the crazy things that I've done in my life, unprotected sex is never something that I engaged in.
Oh man, applause to
Serious-
you,
dude. It's just I've always felt this way. Like I don't want kids of my own.
Right.
I do not want
Never
kids
though.
No, I'll adopt, man. Both my parents were adopted.
Oh, that's cool.
And so yeah, I don't want kids of my own. And
Well, that's commendable.
And I'm 29, man. Like I'm going to be a perpetual stepfather, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so interesting.
It is really interesting, dude. You have Like, you don't know it, bro, but you're going to be super successful with the way you are because you're slightly psychopathic.
You think so?
Right? Yeah, dude. I think so, dude. I think so. I think there's a part of you that, like, sometimes you pretend to care and have emotions in certain areas, but really you just don't give a fuck.
I struggle sometimes with like people.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, everyone in recovery is always like, "What's up, bro? I fucking love you, man. How's our things going?" And I'm just like,
Bro, you've come around. Though,
I know,
dude.
but still, most of the time, I'm just like, "Yo, get the fuck."
When I
away
first
from
met
me,
you,
dude.
I watched some man try to hug you, and you stop him. And I remember just confronting you about
Really?
that. I was, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you stopped a man from hugging you. I was like, you'll start hugging soon.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, I hug people, and like now it's like more to be polite. There's only like a few people in my life that I hug because it's like because I want to embrace them because they're my friends.
Yeah.
But the rest of it's just out of being for the sake of being polite.
No.
I
I'm
really
not
feel it.
buying
I don't know, man. Like there's just something about.
I think you just can't tap into it. That's my belief. I
That
could
I
be
can't
wrong.
tap into it?
I think you care though more than because you show up. You just keep fucking showing up.
That is
You know what
true.
I mean?
You do
show the fuck up. I feel like if I called you right now to help me each up, and it's like, why? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is a defect of yours that you're like feeding, like inversely, kind of like that ego thing, like you said. It's like my ego has done a lot of positive in my life,
right. I'm just talking about people that I don't
that you don't like.
that I don't enjoy being around.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but I think Kathy, that bitch at the IHOP, if she needed you,
You know what's funny is there's actually a lady named Kathy that used to be one of the regulars, and I couldn't stand her, and I wouldn't go anywhere near
she
her.
needed you though, Cam.
No,
Come on.
you got nothing coming from me.
You know, Cam, you got the wrong guy, Honchar, dude.
That's funny, yeah.
You got the wrong fucking guy, dude. Time's up, bro. We're at an hour, man. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being in my life.
Seriously.
You're welcome.
Because
Thank you.
honestly, dude, why do you think I call you to water my plants? Because I know you're going to say yes. Because I know you're going to show up. Because you love the opportunity to be there for the few people that you really do care about in your life. And you've been an absolute pleasure to have on this podcast, to have in my life, dude. And I fucking love you dearly. I'm excited to see where you go. And I'm going to do something for you guys, all right? Check it out. Go to Bud Out E-Cigs, okay? Order some shit.
Yeah.
All right? And this is what I'm going to do for you. You're going to put in last week out on the promo code. You're going to get 20% off your order. We've already got a few people, dude. Shout out to, who was it?
Walter.
Walter H, dude, for using the promo code, man. Get out there, dude. It's 20% off your order, and that's a big discount, bro. So we love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, comment, rate. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you can find podcasts, you're going to find Cuzzy Wuzzy, dude. So we love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.